Thank you so much, Piper and the Detroit Startup Week team for having us. Detroit Means Business is essential to the business owners and success and being able to truly be able to scale and grow and be able to thrive amongst these unprecedented times. We also do have Amanda Passage with us and Dana Williams, both with DTE. You might wonder, there are guys that actually do work with Detroit Means Business as well. We do have some great men on our team, but just the way that the calendars worked out, you have the Rockstar Woman panel today. So I am in great company. I always enjoy being able to be amongst some wonderful women that are just kind of already being rock stars in their space, but definitely during this time of COVID-19 have definitely stepped up to the plate of being leaders in their organizations, wearing many hats, but also playing a very vital role in the execution of Detroit Means Business. And I've been admiring all of you and all of the work that you guys have been doing, both before and really more so now. So to give you guys a quick introduction, I'm not going to talk a lot about what we do at Detroit Means Business because each one of the ladies play a vital role in different categories in serving businesses. But I just want you all to know that this is a coalition of private, public, and philanthropic partners in order to meet the needs of small businesses during this time, during reopening. The work that we do definitely will evolve as the challenges in our society change during this time. And so this is really exciting for us as well because we get to hear back from the businesses that are participating in this session today. So please use the question feature or the chat feature to send us comments or thoughts that you have about different ways that we could serve you and continue to help you during this time. And so what we're going to do first is I'm going to have each one of the ladies just introduce themselves and what they do in their normal day-to-day role. Again, each one of them wears several hats, but I'm gonna let the ladies go through it and just quickly introduce yourself about what you normally would be doing, and then we're gonna come back to you to talk about what you're doing in the space of Detroit Means Business. So we'll start with our Detroit Startup Week veteran, Amy Rencher. She's been here a few times already, and so Amy, you wanna introduce yourself quickly?
Certainly. Good morning, everyone, and thank you for joining. Please make sure that you interact with us in the chat. I appreciate the kind words from one of the participants already. So thank you, Deborah. That was very kind, speaking to our work at TechTown. So I'm Amy Rencher. I'm the Director of Small Business Initiatives and Entrepreneurship at TechTown Detroit. I'm representing TechTown here as a member of this public-private coalition that is Detroit Means Business. There are several sort of streams and lines of business resources that will be talked about today and represented by my peers on the panel. The channel of sort of resources that I'm responsible for and will speak to is technical assistance. And there's a couple of different avenues for that. We have recorded webinars, live content, and of course our Ask an Expert sessions. They're free 25-minute one-on-one consultations with subject matter experts in finance, marketing, HR, food-based businesses, strategy and operations. Incredible bench of over 40 subject matter experts on this list. They're here to serve you that are local with local and knowledgeable of the market here. I think most people average about 15 years in experience when I take a look at that list. So I'm pleased to be a convener and to help provide these resources and lift up this great platform. And thanks again for having me today.
Thank you. Amanda Hanlin, we've got two Amandas.
Good morning. It's great to be here. Thank you so much for inviting me to join this panel. It's wonderful to see all of my friends from Detroit Means Business in a slightly different context than when we usually get to see each other on our update calls and everything. I'm the Chief of Staff at Detroit Economic Growth Corporation, which pre-COVID did still mean wearing a lot of different hats, but my role was really primarily focused on supporting our CEO and our leadership team in really all aspects of our external stakeholder engagement and also our engagement with our internal staff. So typically I work on a lot of board engagement and facilitate all of DEGC's board activity, as well as playing a key role in all of our fundraising activity. working as one of our primary liaisons to the mayor's office and to a lot of our other partner organizations. But within my job description, there's a line that says special projects as needed. And since COVID-19 hit, there have been a lot of special projects. So I've really been shifting gears to kind of focus on where hands are most needed to be able to pitch in and help our business community as much as possible. And Detroit Means Business has been one of those opportunities. I've been able to plug in a number of different capacities, but really our whole DEGC small business team has been very focused on supporting the effort and lending some leadership to different components of the plan. So we'll look forward to talking through that a little bit more.
Thank you. And Keona, and am I pronouncing your name correctly?
You are. It's Keona.
Thank you. Awesome.
Good morning, everyone. It is such an honor and privilege to be before you and also with the esteemed panelists that we have. My name is Keona Cowan. I am the Executive Vice President of Lending at Invest Detroit, which many of you may know. Invest Detroit is a community development finance institution, or commonly called a CDFI. Basically, it's a nonprofit financial institution driven by mission. Our mission is to create retained jobs, create density, and to serve the underserved population. From a lending perspective, we have a four-pronged platform, venture capital, as well as the three teams that I manage, being commercial real estate, mainly in the commercial corridors, commercial and industrial, so large manufacturing institutions, and as well small business. My role within Detroit Means Business is I work on the work stream of financial support. Surprise, surprise, being a financial institution. And my role is really to make sure that all of the financial resources and tools that are available in the ecosystem for small businesses is populated on the website. We're knowledgeable about them, and we're connecting those resources to all of you.
Awesome. Thank you. Amanda Passage, and then Dana, following Amanda.
Yeah, hi everybody, Amanda Passage. I work with DTE, and my normal day-to-day world consists on the communication side, supporting our DTE Foundation and the various grant support that we provide across the state, and then also our public affairs team, which handles a lot of our community outreach and engagement in local neighborhoods, and specifically Detroit quite a bit. So I also, hopefully you guys have heard of Beacon Park. I play a significant role in helping spread our programming and what will soon be virtual programming coming for the rest of for the remainder of the year. I'm probably the newest person to the Detroit Means Business team. So I'm excited to see everybody in this capacity. And but I've been supporting the communications work stream, and so trying to get out a lot of the messaging to all of the wonderful small businesses, making sure you guys are aware of what's going up on the website, the resources that are available, and any kind of timely updates that you guys should all know about.
Thank you. Dana?
Good morning, everybody. Pleasure to be here with you, Arielle, as well as with my fellow panelists here. Day to day, on a regular basis, I am the Programs and Strategy Manager for the DTE Energy Foundation. That means that I get to design the impact and outcomes that we like to see across our 6 priority giving areas. And of course, one of those is economic progress. And for us, that means the support of the small business community. And for us in particular, we're looking in ways to support those that are from underserved communities of some kind, women-owned, by those who are owned by people of color, veterans, et cetera, et cetera. So through that work and through my special role that I was given through the COVID-19 campaign, I actually had the opportunity to lead all of our external community partner engagement for DTE Energy throughout the COVID crisis, making sure that our various stakeholder groups, everyone from our government affairs folks to customer service teams, and as well as the folks in public affairs that Amanda mentioned, that we're all singing the same tune and reaching out to customers in a very similar way. So those two things together brought me here to the Detroit Means Business Initiative. I have been working primarily on the reopening playbooks streamline. And so in addition to all of the guides that you see there, it is my role to also make sure that I'm working in conjunction with the City of Detroit Health Department, as well as organizations like OSHA and industry and trade associations, to make sure that folks like you know what the expectations are, both from the governor as well as from your respective agencies.
Thank you, ladies, so much for that. So I was just thinking, as I was trying to go through who I wanted to pick on first to talk about the different work that you all are doing for Detroit Means Business. And I initially thought about the phases of how Detroit Means Business launched. So initially we started with this phase of reopening resources and webinars and information of just kind of like, we were still really on lockdown, on quarantine, and really making sure that businesses were prepared for that big push of when we finally started to open things up. And so the first person I thought about was Amy, because TechTown had just wrapped up a lot of, I don't even want to say wrapped up, but the grants processes and everything. And I just really felt bad for her. And I'm like sending her emails like, oh, I felt bad, I'm sending her another email. But the technical assistance that's needed for businesses to truly be able to thrive and understand what does it mean to reopen safely? What does that mean for my staff? Technical assistance is very broad. So if you want to give us some information on what's happening with technical assistance and kind of what those current resources are looking like.
Absolutely, my pleasure. And so, yeah, when we, I'd like to, I'm going to try really hard not to say the words technical assistance anymore during this conversation, because I recognize it as jargon and something that's quite broad, and really it means different things in different industries. So when we say technical assistance right now, what we're talking about is business coaching, right? Be it in a 20-minute recorded webinar, a 3-minute video, or live Zoom one-on-one consultation to answer a very specific question you have that's prohibiting you from making progress in your business right now. So that base level, that's what we talk about when we're saying that. And so expert guidance, right? That's how we refer to it on the website. And I just want to really reiterate the point of this being expert guidance. And I think a lot of people are saying those words in this week because we're in the setting. It's fantastic, right? Detroit Startup Week has this wonderful community full of vibrant and really tenured professionals. But this is the best of the best here locally. We have 20-year plus business consultants from the Small Business Development Center, from SCORE, from TechTown contributing. U of M, we have masters in accounting students that are providing financial consultation. Some other local partners like the Build Institute, the Fair Food Network, Food Lab Detroit. We are just tremendously pleased to be a part of this really great network of peers that are providing these one-on-one Zoom, or you can arrange for a phone conversation if you would prefer not to do the Zoom conferencing. So we ask you to go through the website. You're going to complete an intake so we know a little more about your business. Then you're going to be navigated to this page where you can see all the different expertise available. So you'll come and you'll state the problem you're looking to solve, and you'll see, okay, there's 4 people that have the finance experience to help me ask the question about this, maybe my P&L statement right now, right? If you're applying for the Wayne County Back to Work grant, which I definitely encourage you to do, that application goes live on Monday, you will need, for example, to provide either 3 years of profit and loss statements or 3 years of tax returns. And so maybe you're having a question about your profit and loss statements. That's a great question for this venue. We have seasoned financial experts to answer those kind of questions. You can pick exactly who you'd like to meet with. We have times every day. You can sign up for an appointment in the same day. That is how incredible and the breadth and depth of this network, and how much our peers really are committed to helping reopen the city in a safe manner, in which we're welcoming customers and our employees back to the workplace. And so I just really want to, the bring home there is the expert guidance, the availability. We have appointments available every day of the week, sometimes on Saturdays, I'm noticing on there, which is wonderful, but we want to make sure that our friends get a little break too. And so I'll mention one more thing here quickly, is that I don't want to steal Dana's thunder, because the reopening playbook, that's all her territory. But I will say that we've gone even a step further to create with in partnership with the City of Detroit's Health Department and their Media Communications Group, we've broken out technical elements of the playbook into these 2 and 3 minute video segments. Are animated, and it just helps you think differently about this. We get this. This is hard. It is technical, and this is not what you signed up for, right? When you came out to start, particularly a physical business location. We acknowledge that, we honor that, and so we've really done a lot in the past couple of weeks to present information, think about it differently, and share it back with you in different mediums. So I'll stop there in favor of the others on the panel here, but suffice to say, when we say expert, we really mean it, and there's just a whole bunch of resources on the site.
So I guess that's a great segue to come to you, Dana, to talk a little bit about the reopening playbook, which I have a follow-up question to that, but I'll let you talk about the reopening playbook first.
Okay. Well, Amy's right? I mean, we've got to work really closely together. So the reopening playbooks were established. We kind of started with what corporate organizations had already started to do at the very beginning of the crisis, whether it was DTE or Lear or other manufacturing organizations. We kind of started there, as well as with what the city of Detroit had already developed. Denise Fair and Dr. Dunn and his team had already done quite a bit of work. And so it was my job to kind of help put those pieces together, bringing in best practices that we'd also learn from some of the trade organizations like the Michigan Restaurant and Lodging Association, like the National Retail Association, and even the safety organizations like OSHA. What were they recommending for folks to be able to do in order to operate safely? And so what you see on the website today in terms of the reopening playbooks are really a conglomeration of all of that, in addition to what the CDC is telling us are the best practices for us to be the most safe as we can. And so we've got a general reopening playbook on the site. And then from there are also a number of other kind of how-tos that don't come in a formal manner. So one of the things that folks started to complain about was, I wear glasses, and when I have to put on a mask, my glasses fog up. So there's a trick to that. And so we even started to develop some of those downloadable content and materials for little things like that. At the very beginning of the pandemic also, there were some concerns about how you receive packages, right? So if you're running a business, you might get inventory coming in and out all the time. So we also have some tips and tricks on the site to receive packages in a safe manner, so that folks will be safeguarded as best they can. And then other little things like that people might not necessarily think about. The other things that we heard from small businesses was, so I've got a little room in the back where my team and I meet and have lunch. Well, that may not be such a good idea. So there's also information on the site to say how you set up your lunchroom and your cafeteria, how you might set up your store in a different way, right? You won't have racks or chairs or things in the same way that you might as you would have before this time. So all of those kind of resources were built out into playbooks, the reopening guides, these tips and tricks, and then we tried to link to as many of those other partner organizations as we can, because we know as these orders change and the world continues to change, and so must our guidance. And so to make sure that we've got things that are as up to date as possible, that information is on the site as well.
Awesome, thank you. I'm actually going to save my follow-up question for later. But Keona, tell us a little bit about financial assistance. I know Invest Detroit already does so much in supporting small businesses and startups with support. And so tell us a little bit about what you guys have been doing with Detroit Means Business.
Absolutely. So a number of things, a number of resources have been available that we want to make sure that you all are absolutely real-time aware of, from the PPP applications and access to that tool, which is winding down, or actually has wind down. Close of that application process is coming up on Tuesday, but certainly if you have not applied, please go on the Detroit Means Business website. There is, under the financial support module, there is a list of PPP lenders, Paycheck Protection Program, acronyms, that are still taking applications. They are few and far between. In addition to that, there are additional resources to help you with the applications. In addition to that, there is a program that is just reopened and expanded from SBA that starts off for the initial dollars are a grant and convert to a loan. That is the Economic Injury Disaster Loan, or EIDL. If you need help with that application as well, please complete the intake form on the Detroit Means Business website, and you will be directed to a team of MBAs throughout the country that is assisting with coaching you through the application, getting any documentation that is necessary in order to complete, as well as Amy already mentioned, the Wayne County grant program that launches on Monday. Be prepared. It is a $50 million pool, but it is for the entire Wayne County, right? So 5,000 businesses will hopefully be awarded a $10,000 grant. Want to make sure that each of you that need these resources get access to them. It is very vital and important that you have all your documentation together, right? So utilize what are we calling it? Not technical assistance, Amy?
Expert guidance, coaching.
Expert guidance resources. If you need help with getting your tax returns gathered together and your P&L and the like, cash flow statements, so forth. In addition to that, as other tools come available, we are certainly making those available. On that financial resource or support tab as well, you will see a 6 questionnaire that I behoove you to answer. And what it does is it will tell you all of the programs that you would qualify for. So you would say, I'm a brick and mortar business. I need assistance with covering costs for payroll and PPE, and I need inventory. And it'll tell you all the loan programs, the grant programs, and also programs for crowdfunding. If you were trying to crowdfund, there are match programs. That website, just like every module within the Detroit Means Business, is updated on a weekly basis. So as new tools come out, they are there and available for you. There are experts at, and I want to take Amanda's thunder here, but there are experts at DEGC that can help you guide you through how to access those resources if you need additional help beyond the expertise that TechTown and its conglomerate of partners is offering. So it really is a teamwork and a collaboration of all of the organizations, including all of the financial institutions. And let me not forget to recognize that the financial support platform is made up of, nonprofit financial institutions like Invest Detroit, but as well the larger financial institutions like Huntington and PNC, as well as other partners in the financial industry. And we are all working to craft various programs to meet the small business needs of our community.
Awesome, thank you. So prior to coming to the city, I was actually in the hospitality industry. So customer service is a big deal for me. I'm a stickler on customer service. And one thing that I must say about all of the teams and everyone that's been working in this space is the dedication of quality and service to the small businesses from the Detroit Means Business team has been very impressive and very just comforting to see, and the passion that's been put into providing a quality service. But specifically, I saw two of both Amandas, Amanda Hanlin and Amanda Passage. I saw these ladies in action during the PPE distribution at Eastern Market. It was literally 90 degrees when I was there. And it just very consistent teamwork. I know Amanda was really there to probably try and collect information and make sure that we got the right pictures and had the right conversations. But everyone, there was definitely a team effort to make sure that the businesses got what they needed, and that it was a quality process. And so just wanted to give them a shout out on that. And before Amanda Hanlin talks about some of the amazing things that they've been doing in her group as it pertains to Detroit Means Business. But just thank you all for that. Thank you everybody on the panel for the quality service that you've been giving to all of the businesses. So Amanda Hanlin, and then followed by Amanda Passage, I would like for you both to share about your work with Detroit Means Business.
Sure, happy to. Well, I'm glad that you mentioned the PPE distribution because I feel like it's one of my favorite examples of what's possible when this type of group comes together. And, we owe a huge debt of gratitude to DTE Foundation for actually funding that effort. I think one thing that's easy to miss is not only did they provide the resources needed to actually purchase the PPE and assemble the kits, but they provided all the logistical support that it took to actually be able to move those kits to Eastern Market, store them. They provided volunteers for every day of the process. It was amazing. And, we planned it in a very short period of time. And it came together really well. We also really have to thank the mayor's office. Elisa Malile, the deputy chief of staff, just played a huge role in being able to coordinate resources, including neighborhood police, Department of Public Works, and others to make sure that the process was very safe and smooth. So one of the things that we were the most appreciative of in being able to participate with that was really the one-on-one interaction that we had with the business owners as they were picking up PPE. We had a very safe contactless process, but in those instances when businesses, rolled down the window to ask us a question, we got into a lot of discussions about what was really going on. And, the pandemic is changing constantly, week over week. At that period of time, businesses were very, very focused on getting reopened quickly and safely. And you could feel the anxiety that everybody had about just trying to navigate understanding what they needed to do to be safe and to be open. So it was a real privilege to be able to play a role in trying to make that possible and at least provide some resources to help the businesses get open. That effort is kind of shifted gears a little bit to focus on vetting PPE suppliers to be able to provide really high quality information to our business community so that small businesses have a lot of different resources that they can reach out to purchase PPE at an affordable cost. And again, a huge thanks to DTE because the DTE's procurement team, Tony Tomzak and others have really been taking charge of doing that vetting. And I think it's a big relief to be able to, have a list of organizations that, have already kind of been tried and true. I just had some work done on my house and it was a big comfort to have a referral from somebody else. I'm not an expert in the trade that they're providing. So to have someone be able to tell me, nope, these guys are good, they're honest, they're going to give you a fair price, they're going to give you a quality product. I think that's what we're really trying to accomplish with the PPE supplier list as well. And then one of the major ways that DEGC has been involved in Detroit Means Business is through the establishment of the Small Business Contact Center. So Lily Hamburger, our Director for Business Retention and Expansion, is just an amazing force behind this. She's really been overseeing the coordination of that effort. This is an actual contact line that businesses can call from 9 to 5, Monday through Friday. It is staffed primarily by our 7 district business liaisons, as well as additional staff from our small business team. Part of what I love about that is that our district business liaisons, we have one for every city council district in the city. They're experts in the neighborhoods that they serve. They consistently are in contact with businesses in every neighborhood of the city, vetting all of their concerns, trying to connect them to resources, helping them navigate city processes, just answering questions and kind of making connections. So they come to the table with the Detroit Means Business Contact Center with that knowledge base already in place. And then because of the dynamic nature of the pandemic, I love that this is a live intake. This is a touch point where as information is changing and as our circumstances are changing, our DBLs and small business team are adapting to that as well. So if you called last Monday and already, the answers to your questions may have changed by next week, they know that, and they're able to kind of continue in real time, providing the best information possible. And because of the Detroit Means Business Coalition being structured how it is, they can plug into all these other resources and make those connections. They can connect you with Amy's shop and the business coaching services being offered. They can connect you with Invest Detroit's effort to lead financial support. and so on. So, I recommend it. There are two ways of accessing it. You can go to the website and fill out a request help form and check a box to have someone call you, or you can actually call the direct line that's provided on the website for the contact center. And again, that is available Monday through Friday from 9 to 5.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, Amanda. Amanda, and last but not least, Amanda Passage. We just were on a call early this morning, and you were sharing some wonderful things that's going on with our communications team.
Yeah, absolutely. So when the Detroit Means Business Coalition kicked off, there's a lot of moving pieces, a lot of moving parts. And a lot of individuals who had wonderful contact lists and everything in order to get the word out about the amazing resources and everything that was going to be made available to small businesses. And hopefully a lot of you guys have received many of those communications. Our team was recently kind of officially created, and our goal is to create one centralized source that these messages will come from. So hopefully you don't have to monitor multiple people sending messages and updates. And so what our team has really been working hard towards is to compile all of the wonderful information that all of these ladies have already just talked about into one centralized email that comes to small businesses. So this week we had our first newsletter that went out on Monday, and it includes updates that have happened on the website, so you don't have to continually come back and see what's now available. It also includes a small business highlight, and so our goal is to not only talk about the resources available, but highlight the ways that businesses have been using these resources and how it's really made a difference in their startup efforts. And then two, a big piece is we want to be your trusted advisor, your trusted source for when there is new information that you guys need to know about, if there are grant supports, if there are other things that maybe you haven't been aware of. We want to make sure that we're the first to tell you guys about it, and then offer a one-on-one coach to walk you through that process and figure out how we can help you capitalize on all of these wonderful things that are being made available. And so that's what our team is really looking to do. So we'll have, like I said, a newsletter. We're looking to have those go out weekly. And then also as timely updates become available. So as, specific things are signed and news is made available, we want to send those out timely as well, so you guys know about it as soon as possible and can be first in line in order to use a lot of those resources. So we're exploring other ways that can make that even quicker to get to you. So texting and other social media partners that we can get the news out to quickly, and who you guys are already engaging with. And so we look to you guys. We are completely open to ideas. What is the best way for us to get information to you, in addition to the newsletter, in addition to texting once we roll that out? If there's other ways, we are all ears. And really, all of these resources are amazing, and hopefully you guys are using a lot of them. But if you don't know that they exist, then we're really not doing our job. And so that's our team's goal, is to absolutely make sure that you guys are the first to know that these resources are there, and that you also are paired with a coach or paired with a playbook that can help you actually implement it within your business and get back up and running.
Thank you. So we do have some questions coming in here, so I won't hog all the time with asking you guys all my questions. So the first question that's come through is, can nonprofits apply for some of these grants that we've talked about? And I see Amy pasted an answer to this one, but I don't know if all the other attendees were able to see the answer.
Yeah, so real quick, what I said there this is in the Q&A section of this, not the chat, but the Q&A. So I gave links to where the Wayne County Back to Work grant application will be posted this Monday, the 29th of June. There are 2 info sessions, one at 9:30 this coming Monday a.m. and then the following Monday, July 6th at 6 p.m. The grant itself is open from June 29th to July 10th. This is a grant for small businesses with a physical location in Wayne County. And so nonprofit organizations are unfortunately not eligible to apply for this grant opportunity. Keona can speak to some of the other SBA resources we talked about in regards to nonprofit organizations.
Absolutely. Thank you, Amy. I totally missed the Q&A session there. So thank you for pointing that out. Absolutely. As it pertains to the SBA Economic Injury Disaster Loan Program, or EIDL, as I mentioned before, nonprofits are eligible for that program, as well as real estate developers. That is an application and a program that you apply directly through to the SBA. So again, if you go to Detroit Means Business, you click on the financial support, you'll see EIDL, and there's a link directly to the application. Again, that program is a loan program, but the first $10,000 up to $10,000 is or can be in the form of a grant, and then the balance is a loan, a low cost long-term loan to be supportive of, disaster situations, just like the pandemic we're going through right now. That's a program that has persisted and existed for decades through the SBA. I'm not aware of any other nonprofit grants that nonprofits are eligible for, but if you, from time to time, go back to the website, again, if you go through the 6 series questions, it'll pop up what you're eligible for. So again, any business, whether nonprofit or for-profit, and/or for some religious centers, churches, the like, there are some programs that you have access to as well, but selecting the appropriate sectors and the like will help you to glean what programs you are eligible for.
Great, thank you. I see a few more questions coming in. If you have questions or even just comments or suggestions of ways that you all would like to be engaged as businesses in Detroit, please share that with us. We would love to hear from you, your ideas and your thoughts. A kind of follow-up question to that, a lot of the businesses that are participating with us today are startups. And so some of the resources that have been provided before have been for businesses, and I must say a lot of them have been under 50 employees, but been for businesses that were established prior to this year or established prior to COVID-19. What are some ways that a startup can engage? I can think of a few off the top of my head, but a startup could engage with the Detroit Means Business initiative to really be able to get a jump start towards thriving at this time. And anybody can answer that one.
Well, I think one of the things that's nice about the Detroit Means Business Initiative is that the resources that are provided are for anyone. There certainly is not a requirement for a number of years of operation that folks would have to have in order to benefit from the services that are here. In fact, to be very honest, if I'm a brand new business, I'm certainly going to take advantage of the business coaching that TechTown is offering, and I would call the number that's listed on the site and sign up for the newsletter through the website and connect with the DEGC contact center. Right, I would be doing that on a very regular basis. What we're hoping happens, and I think I can say this publicly, is that surely this initiative began as a crisis response, but we know that this is a much more permanent need. And so engaging with businesses that are represented here today of all kinds, whether you're a startup or a ben-up, I think we'd love to hear from the folks here about what other resources might be helpful as we continue to build this out.
Thank you. So Michael Henderson, you have a question about being able to supply PPE to different businesses. And one thing that I can share with you that we do at the City of Detroit through the Civil Rights Inclusion Opportunity Department is we work with the Office of Contracting and Procurement to share bidding opportunities and opportunities to do business with the City of Detroit. We also provide certifications for you to certify as a Detroit-based business, a Detroit headquarter business, for you to receive equalization credits towards your bidding process and getting contracts with the city. To that end, we did post some things yesterday, actually on the Detroit Means Business Facebook page, about opportunities to supply PPE to the City of Detroit. And so that website is, and I'll put it in the chat, detroitmi.gov/supplier. And there, not only will you be able to see opportunities to provide PPE, but just any other service that you would maybe want to provide to the City of Detroit, you will see those bidding opportunities there. So I encourage you to go check that out and continue to connect with the Office of Contracting and Procurement on other ways that you can support us in getting the supplies and the resources that we need through your business. So thank you for that question. Let's see here. Now the questions are coming in faster than I can read. That was a lot of them are questions about suppliers looking to sell and some nonprofit resources. So someone that's new to the industry that wants to support entrepreneurs. This question is from Teresa Winters. So she's an organization that wants to help this work. What are some ways that they can get involved with us? Amy, Dana, anybody? Questions on how they can get engaged with Detroit Means Business.
So I'll say, Dana sort of made mention there of our commitment to continuing this effort, right? We stood this up very quickly in a number of weeks with a wonderful coalition of public and private partners, and that's why you see the mix of our private partners like DTE, and then of course the city here, and nonprofit partners Invest Detroit and TechTown. This group has committed to continue this work recently, and there's still some working behind the scenes as to what this looks, certainly beyond the next month. But so for it sounds like this individual is looking to support small businesses, perhaps as an expert themselves. The short answer is I'm going to give out my email address. There's a way that we vet professionals to provide guidance to small businesses, be it through this program or through TechTown's Ask an Expert program. And so I'll put my email address in the Q&A section, and we will get you in. There's an application that you fill out. And then we'll get you in touch that way. But so just as a way, if there's folks online here who are representing the corporate sector or have maybe medium-sized business themselves and are looking to help, this is the way that you can help. If you have subject matter expertise that you can give a couple hours a week in these Zoom sessions or calls or through webinars, we want to be in touch with you. We welcome your support. We want to be in line with the communication strategy and with the expertise of our peers here. So I'll put my email address in the Q&A section there, and we'll be in touch with the intake form.
Thank you, Amy. This may be kind of a Dana, maybe Amy question. Nicole Nesbitt, I'm a fitness studio. How much information do we need to give our clients about our COVID-19 safety measures? Is there a template or guideline from the city? So I know that the governor just reclosed the gyms, and so we usually don't move until the governor moves, but Dana.
Well, you've got it, right? So certainly on the site for gyms, we don't necessarily have a separate playbook or anything. But if I were them, I would follow what we've established for barbershops, salons, massage parlors, any organization that really deals in people's personal space. There's certainly reopening guides for that, and some tools to be able to do that safely. But as you said, Arielle, at this point, this shouldn't be open anyway. So we've got to wait a little bit longer. And we may receive further guidance from the governor. And if that's the case, then we'll likely release something right on the site and via the communications channels that Amanda Passage has shared as well.
Thank you. Mm-hmm. So I'm not sure if the panelists can see this question that's come through, but it's actually pretty much in line with my final question for the panel, and then we can address any other questions that come through. But it's basically about planning for the unknown, right? Which is scary and not really even a thing that I don't think anyone has best practices for. And she's asking about creating her projections, and she had a startup that won Motor City Match and even had connected with different leaders in the space. And now rethinking what tourism looks like for the city of Detroit for her tourism company, and being able to create projections for that. And we can't really project what the landscape will look like even in the fall. And so just what are some words of wisdom or thoughts that you could give to the businesses that are watching today as they're trying to prepare for what is potentially next? Maybe Keona, in regards to what you would look for as a financial institution or organization to support in that space, and anyone else just in regards to strategy.
So certainly from a financial perspective, as you can imagine, financial institutions are very cautious about how to proceed, but certainly want to continue to be supportive of small businesses that exist and or are looking to open. And so really having a well thought out pro forma and projections are certainly going to be an important component of it, and being realistic, right? Understanding where your market is to this particular business owner's thought process of knowing that the tourist industry is down at this point, looking and understanding how that could potentially gradually gauge up. We would take very, very conservative, slow approach as to expectation of the industry opening, the state opening, and, would probably start a little small and help you to grow into where you're trying to grow or expand. But a lot of it really has to do with your specific business and sitting down with either one of our small business lenders, being Derek Edwards or Jason Barnett, to really understand what your capacity is, what your true needs are today, and how you're trying to grow and or pivot, right? Because a lot of you all have been looking at different ways to expand your product or your service in a way that it aligns with and complies with the current economic, social, and environment that we're in today. So, it's hard to say, without getting into the intimate details of your business and your financial model, but be realistic. I say that to every business, every developer, be realistic. I know that we anticipate full capacity every day of every week. And the reality is that doesn't happen. There are real downtimes. Do your research and understand your business. And then let's sit down and talk about it, right? And honestly, if you're at a point where we're quite not able to finance you, but there are some things, so we tend not to, we say yes, but here are the things that you need to be looking at, consider, be thoughtful about. And if it's a matter of getting some additional expertise from the conglomerate of partners at TechTown, certainly that is something that we would recommend and say, once you've got that, come back to us if it's not the right time. But sitting down and having a conversation about your own individual business and your model is the first step in all of this. And then if I could, Arielle, there was a question in the chat about where could you find additional information about the Wayne County grant. I did post the link to both Detroit Means Business as well as the Wayne County link. And the timeline, just to be clear, application does open on Monday, June 29th, and it's slated to close on July 10th.
Awesome. Okay, thank you. let's see here. We have some other questions coming in. We only have 9 minutes left, so please share your questions. And then ladies, I want some of you to share any success stories that you may have had, or just any encouraging thoughts of, we're still in the middle of a pandemic. And so hearing encouraging stories and just stories of resilience can always be just a very source of encouragement for all the different businesses. As you guys are thinking of that, we have one question that came in of, I'm working on webinars, this is Alicia Jenkins, on one-on-one coaching for people interested in fixer-uppers to either live, rent, or flip. Do you know if there are any resources for sponsorships or grants for abandoned homes in Detroit? Does anybody want to take a stab at it? If not,
Keona, I'm wondering if, I'm looking at Keona because I'm thinking of this from the financing perspective, the capital impact initiatives that were recently, I'm not certain that this is quite the fit, but I'll perhaps as a general resource, Capital Impact Partners is a tremendous organization, national organization that does a lot of work in Detroit. They have a number of initiatives to support the equitable education of developers, right? So we need more, specifically Black developers in the majority Black city. We need more women developers. We need more developers of color. They have a lot of resources lined up around that. They've launched recently a financial program that Keona is probably more familiar with than I am, but I'm not certain that that's exactly the fit for this.
So thank you, Amy, for bringing that up. Capital Impact Partners program is actually geared towards multifamily and mixed use projects. Their financing tools are not for single family home development. However, speaking of another program, right, to your point, Building Community Values, which is run by Chase Cantrell and Dietrich Noner. Chase Cantrell is a real estate attorney turned real estate developer, actually has a project on McNichols and maybe a few others. They have a real estate development program as education program as well, BCV, that usually has some resources that can be tapped into as a part of the participant of that program for sponsorship. And then I don't want to speak to the city's programs, but there are programs, the Detroit Home Program, where it's not necessarily a grant, but it is a low cost loan for acquisition rehab of your property. Now, I do believe that you need to live. It needs to be owner occupied. You need to live in at least one of the units if it is a multi-unit, up to 4. But that is also a resource tool for you to acquire, renovate, and live in the property. The only other lender that I am aware of that does finance single family home development, and it's not necessarily a grant program, so to speak, is LISC, does do single family home financing for real estate developers in small clusters, right? So it doesn't necessarily have to be a large single family home development. It can be, 5, 6, 10 residential homes and scattered sites as well.
Thank you. Again, I would encourage you all to stay connected with the city. I know sometimes looking at municipal websites is not always the funnest thing to do sometimes, but even the water department, if you do things in regards to landscaping, there's several different ways, and the water department has a different procurement office than the city of Detroit as well. So you would have to check both. And bridging neighborhoods, they do business in these spaces as well. And so stay connected with us, follow our social media, because we are getting more and more active with sharing that information on social media as well. So time flies when we're being resourceful and helpful. So we're at 10:55. I've already seen some success stories just shared here in the chat. So congratulations to everyone who has been able to receive support, and thank you again to the panelists who have shared that. But do any of you have any stories of resilience or success stories that you'd like to share? that you've encountered, or a personal story of resilience I think you guys are living every day that you'd like to share with us.
I just, from a personal note, Arielle, you mentioned it earlier, but the PPE distribution event was incredibly inspiring to be a part of, both from our volunteerism and then from DTE's standpoint, and just to see all of the businesses and how appreciative they were to be able to come up and just have this PPE, you know, safely put into their vehicles, you know, with a touchless situation, and how everyone came together there. And so just thanks to everyone on the panel and all of your respective organizations that you have, you know, been representing. And so I would just say from the small businesses, just to stay tuned for, you know, additional opportunities for ways to, you know, just really capitalize on these resources, and stay tuned to really use the help that's available, because we're really happy to be able to offer it to everybody.
Thank you.
I have one more quick, really awesome, and this is a number of people that are part of this initiative. It's called the Pay It Forward Initiative. A group of our peers across the city galvanized support of Black-owned restaurants in the city to support the city's homeless population in a time when it was difficult to navigate services, particularly at the height of COVID-19. The initiative is over in its initial phase, but the second phase of this work is really tremendous. They put together a repository, an interactive map of Black-owned restaurants in the city. It is incredibly important that we frequent any restaurant. Right now, they are operating on percentages of margins, as I'm sure this group might know, but certainly Black-owned restaurants whom are disproportionately impacted by this crisis, we need to support them. And so I'll put the link in the chat to a press article that has all the information about this initiative. I know we're running out of time, but I really encourage you to check out that map to help support. If you're not a subject matter expert, but you still want to support, please frequent businesses in the city of Detroit. Please frequent Black-owned businesses in the city of Detroit, and restaurants in particular. If you're not comfortable dining in, understood, we're still working through that, and I get that, but carry out is an option, as are gift cards, a majority of folks. So that's my quick plug, is that the Pay It Forward initiative, really tremendous, and you can look it up in the chat in the link that I provided.
Amy, I appreciate that. Those are a few of my friends who started that initiative. So awesome. Thank you for that. I also wanted to share another similar effort called blackleadersdetroit.org. Similarly, they are giving out about $1,000 just basic grants to Black-owned businesses in the city of Detroit. Pretty easy process, and there's some beautiful testimonials that are out on YouTube and social media right now, but blackleadersdetroit.org is another one that's similar to the Pay It Forward initiative, so please do support.
Wonderful, thank you. Thank you both, ladies. So I want to end today with just one, making sure that everyone has the information of DetroitMeansBusiness.org. If you find that website, you can find the phone number that was mentioned today for the contact center. You can also find the link to our Facebook page that can give some real-time updates as well. And then also just the rolling information that continues to change daily as things evolve. But another thing I want to mention is the Detroit Civil Rights Inclusion Opportunity Department, led by our director, Charity Dean, has been doing a lot of work in this space in creating equity for businesses. And we talk a lot about the difference between inclusion and equity. So inclusion is making sure that individuals have a seat at the table, that they're in the room, but equity means we're removing the barriers and that we're lifting everyone up so that everyone has the opportunity to be just as effective and the ability to scale and grow and find success as their counterparts. And so that's the work that we do. And in this climate, during COVID, but even now during this time of racial challenges and Black Lives Matter, everyone comes to us and asks, how can we help? How can we support? And so I always like to end these panels and these conversations with the charge to everyone in regards in creating equity in whatever space that you're in. And so sharing the resources that you have, sharing the resources that you've heard today with businesses that may not have been here and may not have had the opportunity to know about it, that is how you begin to start to create equity in your space space and begin to make sure that others are able to be included and to be successful as well. Thank you to one of the ladies who just offered free help and being able to help others get contracts the way that you have. So again, you're starting to contribute already. And so thank you all for being a part of the solution and for being just amazing partners and friends. And I look forward to talking with all of you guys again. I'm sure I'll probably be on a call with one of you before the end of the day.